Everybody, be right back. Alright, let's plug in. Sorry about all that noise. I don't know what I've been told, but a big leg woman ain't got no soul. What I'm thinking about, I don't know what I'm thinking about. I'm trying to do first of all, there's an echo on the voice today. I don't know why, and I don't have the time to go press buttons, so you have to deal with that. Think about, maybe I'll go on about that, what I just did there. Kind of something I started noodling around with the other day, and it turned out to be kind of musical, and I thought, well, that might make a good lesson for a day where I don't really know. I don't want to double up on the same old thing I talk about. So let's go over that. Let me try to get rid of this echo. It's annoying the hell out of me. Check. 1, 2. Alright, that's a little better. Took all the effects off the voice. So why does that? This is 3 notes on the D, G, and B strings. Frets. On the D string, we're at fret 9, G string 8, B string 7. Nice little angle of notes there. Why did those go so good together? Now, here we are at the, once again, from the G, the D, the G, and the B string. On the D, we're at 6, G4, B, we're in the 5th fret. Whoa. And it really rings out with that open E string. There's a clue. So why does that sound like this 2 chords together? One is there, and one kind of makes an ending. Well, that's a resolve. But why? Why did those notes resolve to those notes? What's the deal? What are we doing? How can we know what key we're in? How can we know that really simply? So here's what's going on. Basically, if you ever heard of a 2-5-1 and you're interested in wanting to know like information on that, this would be a good lesson to watch today for that. But we're not necessarily in a 2-5-1, I was playing more of a 4-5-1. So we'll make ourselves a... I think I'm going to need more than one of these, but I only want to be on here for like 15 minutes, so got to be just kind of quick and brief, and I don't know what I'll be able to impart to you today about what's going on and what I'm doing. For those who know what's going on, this will be, you probably already know what's up and how it all works, but some people are beginners. And this might help them make sense of chord tones, 1-4-5 interval, stuff like that. So, basically, 5-1. 5-1. 5-1 of what? And how do I know it's a 5 and 1? And let's do a 4-5-1. Why does a 4-5-1 sound good? Well, 1-4-5. What is a 1-4-5? We'll start there. And a couple things about a 1-4-5 first. 1-4-5 is very common in music, and it's common for this reason. It makes it's the most common progression that forms the blues in any key, a 1. Let's start with an A. So now we've established the 1. We need to go to a 4. Well, a 4 is always straight below. So, for example, with the 5th string on the E, which is the A note, and then go to the 5th string on the A fret on the A string, 5th fret on the A string, straight below. That's going to be my 4, and that's a 5. Back to the 1. Just the same way they tell you when you're building a chord, like a power chord, is 1-5-1. 4-1 to the 5 and 1. 4-4 to the 5-4 whatever 5. It's such a strong and common melody. You can put that basic chromatic chord in there, and you don't have to worry about it. You don't have to really explain it. It just works because it's so common to everybody's ears. And when you're at the 5, back to the 1. Why the 5? The 5 is also towards the middle of the scale. So if you have a do, re, mi, fa, sol, a scale being do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. So let's say... You're basically in the middle of the scale. I'd say even the 4 is in the middle. Back to the 1. So 1, 2, 3. There's the 5. You can't, there really is in the middle because it depends on how you, if you, there's 7 notes, so there's no, do the math, there's no middle note in 7. You're either on the 4, and then you've got 3 notes left, or you go to the 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you have 2 notes left. Anyways, it doesn't really matter. It's roughly in the middle. It's kind of like the farthest out you can go before you have to return in one direction or the other back to the 1. So the other thing is that in the major scale, a major scale has chords made out of itself. If you play all the notes, they naturally form into major and minor chords because of the interval structure, meaning certain, the 1 is a major, the 2 is a minor, because this note, the major third, is not in the scale, but the flat third is in the scale, so this becomes a minor. Remember, that was something I just didn't understand for a long time as a new guy. There's the 3, minor, the 4 is a major, the 5 is a major, with a little twist we won't talk about today. 6 is a minor. The 7 we're not going to talk about either. That's a diminished chord. So, knowing that we went to we had 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and 6. Okay, so just considering 6 chords there, if you notice, there were 3 major chords and 3 minor chords. So 1 is a major, 4 is a major, 5 is a major. Hey, did you hear that? 1, 4, 5. And in another sense, the 6, if you consider the 6, which is also known as the natural minor, so whereas the 1 is the most natural starting major chord, of the 3 minor chords, the 6 is the most natural sounding minor chord to start a progression with. So with that, you'd have the 6, the 2, and the 3. So let's kind of reverse that. Let's take this one and bring it down here as a G. Oh, wait, what is that? We're in F sharp, sorry. There's our 2, our 3, and 6. But if you notice, it's the same shape as a 1, 4, 5. You consider that 6 the 1. Down below it is a 4th. The next interval up is a 5th. From that, considering that that's now the root, and here it does the same thing. Let's do it without that funkiness. So 1, 4, 5. Important, popular, very common. So, and why? Because of the resolve. 4 resolves to the 1 a little bit. 5 resolves to it even stronger. So, for example, just considering back to major again. That sounds all right. And that sounds complete. So you can see like the 4 resolves. I think it's called a plagal cadence, and the I'm not so sure about that. So we'll skip those big terms, big music theory terms. But anyways, you can hear the 5th really resolves to the 1. Well, lo and behold, that's exactly what was going on when I played these little chord bits here. And that's in the key of E. You can see the E note works as a pedal for all of those chords, even though I'm insinuating the 4th, which is an A, and the 5th, which is the B, and back to the E. Excuse me. So there's your clue right there where I went. We just take the E string at the top. We have the open E as the 1. Count up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 notes. Or flat second, second, flat third, third, 4th. Flat 5th, 5th. So our 1, 4, 5. See, you got a dead string right there. This guitar's been out in the hot and cold a lot lately. Anyways, so where do we get all this from? First of all, these chords that go like this, we got one here. So we got this. And then we even got this. All right. 4. And that's the 5, 5, 5. I'll even do that better this way. This is the 4th. This is the 5th. And we can even go, what do I got here for a marker? Gets even easier. 1. That ain't working, is it? Ain't gonna work. Here. 1, 3, 5. A chord is a 1, 3, 5 or a 1 flat 3, 5. The flat 3 is the minor. The 3s are always together. You have the flat 3 is always before the 3. So this is, and that interval there, you should know this direction is major, unless you're in between these strings where everything gets screwed up. But this is major, and this to this is always minor. So you should know this. That to that is always a minor. No matter where you play it, sounds sad. Playing it with a 5th now, the completed chord. We move that 3rd up, and there it sounds happy. So that's sad, minor, and this is your happy interval. It's how to find anytime you want to find a 3rd, you think about that interval space. And so anyways, we got 2 major chords right here. Where did that 1, 3, 5 come from? So you can think about it in the big picture here. That's really just you've grabbed a section of what you might know as the bar chord, the age-old chord that everybody plays at the bar. Okay, so that's not really where they got the name, but it probably is very common in bars, just because you're barring your string. Like an open E chord, is the same thing, but you don't. It's open because you don't have to have the bar, because you're so low. The open strings are the bar, and to create the same thing up here, you got a bar. So it's really just that. It's the bar chord. So there's the 1. So let's also think of this like this. You have 3 of these patterns going up the neck that will repeat. And that's where I'm building all this from here. So there's this pattern. And I'll show you how to find the other ones really quick. When I was new and I didn't have these memorized, I always just I knew the trick was just take this top note and go to the octave, which is right down here. Now you might say, wait, Mark, isn't an octave this interval pattern here? Skip a string, skip a fret. So, yeah, it is. But remember, we're dealing with that string shift down here, so we have to skip 2 frets. So now we have up here, we have this chord. And then going up from there. So for example, I'll play from the, here, I'm playing here. What am I playing? Well, that's on the 5th. That lowest one is where the bar is. It's an A. There's the octave. The 1 is A. So, going up from there, what intervals are those? Well, we have the D flat there, or C sharp. So I believe that's going to be the 3rd, right? We have it's got to be our 5 right there, and the 1 on the bottom. 3, 5, 1. 3, 5, 1. I think that's your Ford chord, your 351 Ford chord. This is your 1, 3, 5. Your 5, 3, 1 stands to reason that I think we should have a 5, 13 left over. Where do we find a 5, 13? Well, let's go to the octave. And oh yeah, that's the same as our A bar chord, or A cage style chord or bar chord from the 5th fret, like a power chord with that extra note at the bottom. And then after that, it just repeats. So the octave is. So you've only got 3 chords to worry about, and they're super easy shapes. Let's go right down here, and so we would be here. And then always think of the bigger structure. Where do these come from? This is the C-shaped chord. This is the 6-string bar chord. This comes from C, and you can even say D, because let's say we added this note in here, down here, you can see we've got the basics of the like D open chord shape. So that's just the guts of a larger chord. You can see the C major chord shape right here and the D major chord shape there. So for example, here's our C open, and then down here we just played that. Same chord. Let's play it up here. Let's play a D shape here. It's quite a stretch to make this chord here. I've got a D in these fingers here. Normally a D would be like with these 3 fingers, but you use these last fingers so you can take the first finger and make a bar there. G. So I should be able to take that. Should be a G. And this should be a G. And this should be a G. And what do you know? My root is on the G note of the A string. Okay, so it's just simple, just breaking down all the big stuff and making it little tiny chords here. 1, 2, 3. You can see the 4 and the 5th are there. The neat thing is when you add in you can see how these shapes are a little bit they have a spacing to them. So for example, if I'm down here on the A, my next one is up here a little bit. It takes a little bit of getting used to kind of know where the next chord is when you're way down here, that you're going to go up here. And then the next one is going to be way up here. I messed that up. There we go. Part of the 6-string bar chord. So we go from the 5th string bar chord to the 6th string bar chord. Then we got this shape here. And then we move up to this shape here. Kind of heard songs end like that before, where someone is just going with their chord inversions of A. Pretty neat, but a little far apart. But if you add in the 4th and the 5th, everything, you get chords in between there, and that kind of closes the gap there. So now I'm playing the A and the B. So if you have A on these 3 strings, should have a B right here. Then you have A and B from the A bar chord. And then you have from the C shape, once again on the 6th string, call it the CD shape because there's also down there. Notice the same similarity. Same thing. Just playing it in a different spacing on the guitar. So that's neat, but it needs a resolve. So you add in the E, because you're playing the 4th and the 5th now. So a 4th and a 5th, because it's why is that the 4th and the 5th though? Well, it doesn't have to be, but generally speaking, the only place in a major scale where you find 2 major chords together is in the position of the 4th and the 5th. So when I play a G and an A, I've kind of just insinuated that I've played the 4th and the 5th of a scale. Doesn't have to be. I could musically turn that into something else if I added other notes and other ideas to it. But generally speaking, the most easiest way to hear that for your mind is hear the resolve, 4, 5, 1. And how do I even know that? Because anytime I play on the 6th string, the 4 is always going to be the one before the 5, obviously. And then underneath the 5 is always the 1. So the key of E, what's the 4 and the 5? A and B. The key of D flat, what's the 4 and the 5? F sharp and A sharp. Or F sharp and G sharp. How about the key of B flat? Well, that gets a little bit hard because we're way down here. So we'll go up here. B flat is going to have an E flat and F. Lots of learning. So once I add in that root note then, so if we have A and B, we're suggesting that E is our resting chord, our home, our Ionian major scale root home chord. Doesn't have to be, we can just keep playing this. If I just made my song that, I'm really just playing the 5, then going to the 4, then the 5. And so I'm accentuating the mode that starts on the 5, which is called Mixolydian. Just noodling around there, sorry. So, but I played an A scale in there, and I was like, oops, that was a kind of like, didn't really go with what I was talking about there. It sounded okay because A is so close to those other scales to share a lot of notes, but neither here nor there. So anyways, once again, it's this exact pattern. You can see how, let's double it up on our fretboard here, just to, we'll double up the A and the B, the 4 and the 5. So it's basically everything is a neighbor of each other. So you would go, now my fretboard here got screwed up. Something got screwed up here on my fretboard. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, because I only put one fret in between. There's two. What the hell just happened here? Ah, I put this in the wrong spot. My bad. At least we can erase today. It's not a very good eraser, but... Closer neighbors than we thought. Yeah, everything is already only a whole step apart. So pretty cool there. Let's check out what texts are coming in. If it's important stuff. Probably going to tell me my package is going to be delayed by a day. My thinking is that it is, but okay. Excuse me 1 second. Excuse me. Okay. So, we've got the two chords, major chords, a whole step apart. The next one starts in another whole step. Away at the top. You're playing this note. And this note. I should kind of give them like a different symbol. So different, so they're not so close together and confusing. Since I'm using just one color pencil here, so the next one stands to reason is going to be a whole step up from that one. You're going to use this note and that note. So bottom finger on the 10th fret, bottom note on the 12th fret for that. And our next one is only one step up from the top note, and that's this one here. And you got this one, this one, this one. My lord. So we've used that as an X. This one was an O. And that one's just a square. So there's our pattern for 4th and 5th. So you can see you kind of shift around and pick differently, and it's all going to sound musical because there's a relationship there. You're playing a specific relationship, and you're feeding that into people's ears, and they don't know what you're playing, what you're doing, so it sounds begins to sound interesting versus just noodling aimlessly on. You can noodle aimlessly like that and not have any sound, but if you like that, you like that. Now what I did there was add some of that randomness in there just so I could get back to Music Land, and then I resolved it at the end though with the next secret I'll tell you, which is basically this, just doing this again, but now we need to put the one chord in there. So we need the E. Where's that going to be? Well, that is an interesting place. It's here. So we're going to have to put that in green circles. So that's here, here, and here is our E. See, you get this like little kind of, everything begins to overlap, which is kind of neat. and they each kind of have like a different resolve flavor to them. Like notice I'm going to resolve in both directions. I'll go A, E, A, E. That's 5, 4, 4, 1, 5, 4, 5, 1. They all grew kind of close to each other, and then you can kind of start getting where these guitarists are pulling these quick shapes out of all small spots of the neck. This is somewhat of what's going on with that. So in any event, let's take our octave pattern, which is, I believe, going to be right here. Yeah, so here and here and here. Now we've got our you got that shape there. We've got this shape here, so we must need this shape. That's going to be on the 12th fret going there. So, and then right after these two, again, it's the same as you had these. You have the open A here. What do we have? X. We're using X's for that one. So same thing here. You'd have a this, a that, and a that, which gets you right over into this guy right here. Which is next to that guy right there. Got the 4, 1, 3, 5, the 4 chord, and the 5 chord. So hopefully this big tic-tac-toe thing makes some sense, but look how interesting and close just those 3 chords are. And you can do the same thing with minor. I don't, the shapes, I'm just kind of stepping into minor. The shapes aren't as, don't feel as comfortable. Don't, like I like this better than I like playing that. What's this going to be? No, that's wrong. Well, what is that? That was our 3 is up there, so, oh yeah. 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3. But that's an easier way to remember how to get up the scale with these shapes is to group 2 of them together. Use your 4th and 5th for the same shape. Use your 2 and your 3 for the same shape in minor. So if we were in the key of G, the 2 would be A minor, the 3 would be B minor. And I'm going to leave you with that today because I got to get on the run here. Didn't want to be on this long. So, yeah, I hope you enjoyed the quick lesson today while I had another break home. Hopefully we'll have one in another couple weeks. And, yeah, we'll go from there. And okay, we'll hit stop streaming and be out of here. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and if you haven't already, and tell somebody else about this, because boy, we'd really like to get above 1,000 subscribers. I mean, is this not like one of the best kept secrets in guitar teaching for total beginners, for real newbies that are just coming from no man's land and hearing all this big theory jargon on some of the other lessons and being interested in learning it, but having it all go way over your head and being confused every time? Hopefully this is what's kicking it in gear for you. And if it is,